3, 2, 1.
My name is Nick. I'm a full-time trader and entrepreneur. We put out tons of stuff for free for traders. These are real trades. This is real money. I'm putting my money on the line. This is going to be a live trading video here, locking in over $1,000 on this trade. Wow, I'd love to get in on this. Technical insights that really look good to me. Here we go. We're live. Hello, you guys, and welcome back to another live stream. Today, we've got a big one. Of course, it is a Friday on the first Friday of the month, which a lot of you guys already know what that means. It's time for NFP. And NFP this month, man, I feel like this is the most loaded NFP that we've had in a while. Thank you guys for being here. We got people already tuning into the stream, so appreciate you being here. Should be a really interesting stream. And if you stick around, what we plan to do in this stream is we're going to go through some target markets, some things that have to do with the US dollar, as that is what's in focus this morning with the news. And then we're also going to watch the spike and talk post NFP together with you guys, as well as we're going to have a guest come on and talk a little bit about NFP itself, the numbers, what it could mean for the dollar, etc. So hopefully what we're going to do here is we're going to go through some major pairs that have the dollar in them. But I wanted to start here as we get going today with the US dollar. So the US dollar itself has been under pressure. We've seen a lot of downside to the dollar recently, as basically here's the thing, right? A couple things are in play. Number one thing that I'm going to talk about with the dollar right now is that we had a bunch of news recently from the ECB and the Bank of England. Okay. Do you guys know, just a quiz question for those of you guys who are with me here live, by the way, shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you for being here. Happy to have you back. I know a lot of you guys are regulars. I recognize the names that have been here before pretty often. So thank you for being here. Hey, question for you guys. What was the news that happened just recently with the Bank of England and the central bank in Europe, the ECB? Let me know, and why that may have impact on the dollar. Why would that cause the dollar to be bearish? Reason I ask you that is because when you kind of come to my content, you watch my streams and videos, I'm hoping that you're taking stuff away that you can go use and think about on your own. Because at the end of the day, if I can bring value to you as a trader, then, hey, that's my YouTube channel in a nutshell. So rate hikes, yes. Some rate hike concepts, interest rate increase, yes. And why would that matter so much for the dollar? Well, think of it as a race, right? If you have like all these different racers, and then one is like leading the pack, right? Just a real quick a concept here, right? You have a bunch of racers and all of them are racing, and the crowd is back here, right? There's a whole bunch of people back here. But this is the US dollar, right? And the US dollar is flying. We're winning the race in terms of monetary policy. But then you get some people who are gaining, right? They're starting to catch up, right? The others are catching up to the leader in the race, right? When you get that sort of scenario, this person suddenly loses favoritism, right? And that seems to be what's happening with the dollar. Right now, they're talking rate hikes in Europe in December of this year. We're hearing, or the Bank of England already hiked, right? They hiked their rates in their meeting recently. So you put that all together, you say, okay, wow. So there's some catch up coming on. We're seeing some other central banks playing the game too, and the dollar is losing that favoritism. And that's why we saw a big drop recently, right? So, yeah. So why would it impact the dollar? Well, here's, like I said, when all the other central banks start to play catch up, when they start to sound more hawkish, money starts shifting directions, right? If everybody's investing over here because that's the place to invest, but then there's more attractive options over here too, that money can sort of flow in two different directions, causing less dominance for the dollar. Now, I've been bullish on the dollar, and I still am overall. The Fed is still hawkish in my view, or it is hawkish for sure, and still the dollar is positive. But today we have NFP news, which, again, the spike will be happening here in about 28 minutes. We're going to watch the spike together, so stay around. Don't close out the stream. Just stick with me here. We're going to watch the spike together, and I'm going to give you guys my reactions, my thoughts, and my opinions on the dollar with some of these pairs. So here's what I like to do. Before the news, what I like to do is I take a look at a bunch of different dollar pairs. We'll start with euro dollar here. And what we'll do is we will discuss kind of what we're thinking in terms of support, resistance, etc., with the dollar pairs. And then we'll go ahead and talk about trade setups in reference to them. So here's the euro dollar situation. We've had a monumental run here this week, an incredible run up. And now it's no coincidence, in my opinion, that price came all the way up here and is now sitting at resistance at the 4-hour level. Now, again, this spike, you guys, if it's a big spike, if we get something that's unexpected, could shoot the market one way or the other. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know which way it's going to go, right? News is new information for a reason. That's what news is. So if we have some news that's good or bad, my goal here with you guys is to give you my thoughts one way or the other. Now, if the US is going to do what I expect it to do, which is probably overall more recovery, right? The Fed is hawkish for a reason. They're probably seeing numbers, and my opinion is probably decent job numbers. Again, I could be wrong about that. Earlier this week, we had a little bit of a forecasted on Wednesday. We had numbers that were not super impressive, but I'm still thinking that the numbers in the presentation could still do decent for the dollar. So let's look at that scenario first. What if we get strong numbers from the US? Well, then probably we see this area of resistance hold very strongly for the euro, and we see a bit of a drawback after this run to the upside. Now, I'm not going to bet on that before because I don't know that that's going to happen. I'm just saying that I think that overall the Fed is hawkish for a reason, and that job numbers could be a little bit better than expected, or at least not so bad as they were expected earlier this week, if that makes sense. But here's the other side. If we get something that's surprising, the less possible, but still entirely possible scenario would be, worse than expected jobs numbers, bearish stuff for the dollar, and we see a pop above this level. If that happens, you guys, that's a breakout that could have more momentum behind it. You might say, well, Nick, the euro is already up all week. Why would it keep going? Or could it even keep going? Like, wouldn't it just kind of fade? It's got to come back down now. Nope, that's not how markets work. The thing is, there's no such thing as a market went too high, right? When it comes to Forex, when it comes to currencies, these markets can trend for a long period of time. And the concept here being, if you get a breakout here on really weak numbers from the dollar, right? Because remember, we're looking at euro USD. If we're saying that the dollar is weak, that could push the euro higher. If the dollar news related stuff, right? The jobs numbers here today, if they disappoint, you could see a pop above and some break and retest concepts here on the euro dollar. Now, where could we head from there? Well, we have to kind of scroll out pretty dang far until we can sort of see potential areas of resistance up here at 1.1550, let's call it, right? You've got a pretty good, we've got a pretty good move there to the upside. That is a distance now of about 65, 75 pips to the upside if we started to see a breakout. So now here's the thing. The reason I point out the possibility of both scenario is because we don't know what the news is going to be. So if price does start to get bearish for the euro, meaning that we get solid jobs numbers from the US, you may be able to trade this thing intraday on back down to levels like 1.1283, let's call it, right? And that's not going to happen right away. It could be next week, it could be next month. Overall, the idea is that if you get rejection off of strong jobs numbers, the dollar comes back into favor and kind of puts a damper on this euro, right? Then sure, that level could reject nicely. So where are the trade setups? Well, I would say if you're looking at this thing and you start getting a little granular, right? Let's say that you're looking at the 1 hour chart. There actually is some reasonable shorter term concepts like break and retest ideas. For example, let's say that you're bearish overall in the euro and you're looking at this news and you see some strong numbers from the US. We get a pop to the downside, maybe the retest and targeting this area. Very reasonable scenario in my mind. So for example, a short position with stop loss above the highs, that sort of thing, targeting the previous low. That's not a bad risk reward. That's a 2.5 risk to reward. You're risking about 60 pips there to make a potential 150. Now, this is not, of course, we'd have to see, for me to validate this sort of trade idea, I'd have to see a breakout of that structure and then looking to get involved afterwards. So I'm not trading the spike. I'm not trading the release of news, as that is super spready and super dangerous to do on your accounts. A lot of people use buy stops and sell stops. Trust me, been there, done that. It's a quick way to blow up accounts. The market can do some really stupid, crazy stuff. Your spreads can get incredibly wide, and you can really get in a lot of trouble. So trust me when I say you're not going to outsmart the market doing that. But I've been in this game long enough. I've seen a lot of the gimmicks that new traders try to pull. That's not going to work. it's going to blow accounts. Trust me, it might work in the short term, might have a good couple trades or something, but overall, trust me from experience, that's a quick way to blow accounts. But anyways, taking a look here, that's idea number one, right? If we get some dollar strength coming back into the market with good jobs numbers, look for potential breaks, retests, and there may be some opportunities to look for continuations. Please remember, this is not financial advice. This is my thoughts and my opinions about the markets. I can be wrong, and I am wrong often enough that I should make sure to mention it to you guys. So let's take a look at some more pairs. We'll take a look now at pound dollar. Similarly, pound dollar's had a good run up, but we sort of seem to have fallen out of favor here. Take a look at the 1 hour chart, that trending nature sort of fading. And now check this out, you guys. Similar concept on the pound dollar. We have major support here at 1.3540. Question is, if you're a pound dollar bull, right? There's a couple opportunities here as well. Let's say that you're bullish on the pound dollar. You're looking for an opportunity to get long and you're saying, okay, I like the idea of picking up the pound dollar. And now I'm starting to get a pullback here. If we get some volatility from the news, this could be an opportunity from a swing trader's perspective to pick up some longs at a low here, right? The dollar overall has been pretty weak recently after, the rate hike in England, right, or the UK, and then of course the ECB coming out and sounding hawkish as well. So as price pulls back here, I wouldn't touch this before the news personally, because news is still just about 21 minutes away. So we are getting close to news coming out, you guys. So I'm not gonna touch a whole bunch of trades beforehand. However, there is the potential that the volatility from the news, if you're long side biased on the pound, maybe you get some volatility and you get some opportunities to pick up the pound at a lower price against the dollar. Not bad there. That's a risk to reward of 3-1 if the pound dollar continues to trend higher. Now, again, short term, we have seemingly lost a bit of that momentum to the upside. So there may be some waiting involved, maybe a bit of drawdown there. But overall, the pound dollar is still pretty strong. The idea here with the dollar that I've been talking about, right? I've been bullish in the dollar for the last 6 months or so overall, right? It doesn't mean that there's not going to be pullbacks in the meantime. There still may be the opportunities to trade the dollar short especially if you're a shorter term trader, right? If you're short trading like the 1 hour, the 30-minute chart, etc. Sure, even if you think that the dollar is overall bullish, there's nothing wrong with, if you see a technical trade, if you see something that fits your criteria for entries, to potentially look for those setups. Let's take a look now. We will take a look at some markets like gold. We'll take a look at, I would like to take a look at dollar yen and dollar CAD. Hey, Kelvin, we just mentioned the exact pairs that you want to look at. So Kelvin, you're in luck today. So it's NFP, more money in gold. Let's trade this. Yeah. So we'll talk about gold. Gold, there's more money in trading gold if you're correct. There's also a lot more losing in gold if you're wrong. So remember, there is no just perfect market, right? There's not just a magical solution to trading. But we will take a look now at dollar CAD. Here's USD CAD, and taking a look here at the 1 hour chart. Look at this, you guys. This is kind of interesting. So we found support down at 1.2661. And now with the breakout here this morning, question is this area going to hold as support? So we had a range, right? So we went from a range-bound market here, now breaking out and retesting that area. This actually, so check this out. Let's say that the volatility from the news, let's say you like dollar CAD long. There may be some opportunities to target the previous high here and get some decent risk reward. So let's say that you decide, okay, volatility from the news maybe gets me into a trade setup, and you're looking at something like this, right? 2.8-1 risk reward. That's not bad. Targeting the previous high up there at 1.2796. That could be a reasonable area of interest in my mind in terms of where we could see the dollar CAD going. We seem to be trending overall to the upside, so not so bad there, and especially with that breakout of the range today on a little bit of strength. We're seeing the candles here come in nicely for the dollar CAD, and now again, breakout, kind of a retest concept. If we get some volatility on the news, there may be that opportunity to try and pick up some dollar CAD long if you have a long bias on the dollar like I do overall. I'll show you guys my position currently. I'm currently sitting in a pound Aussie long, so it's not super exposed to the dollar, of course. So I am going to be holding this into the news. Probably will still see some volatility just because, with the with any NFP event, it causes a whole bunch of markets to move. We actually hit my first target here today as price. So I entered back in this area down here. We saw a little bit of consolidation, some spike on the Bank of England's rate hike decision, and now following through. So still held on to that trade. Fortunately, I did, because price did end up coming up and tagging my targets there for those of you guys who have been keeping up with some of my trades within the private Discord channel. By the way, if you're not already in the Discord channel, we have a free version and a premium version. Let me see if I can get this, the free version out for you guys. Give me just 1 second. I do not have the producer in the office today because we are here earlier. We're here. I'm showing up early to work today, you guys. This is I got here at 7:30 this morning, so it's a little bit earlier of a morning for me. But let me get this link to the Discord for those of you guys who are newer to the content here. We have a free Discord channel. Just drop the link. Grab that link if you'd like to join the Discord. Here's what is inside. Let me see if I can show you guys a little bit around. We've got some time here before news. We'll take a look at some other currency pairs. We'll take a look at gold as well before time to go. Here is kind of what the Discord looks like. We've got an open chat room. We can see all the trades that are being taken. So here's that pound Aussie trade that I just discussed. So when I take a trade, I drop it within the Discord channel. I just dropped the link, by the way, in the stream here. So if you go to the chat, you can click that Discord and join it. Now, the free version doesn't allow you to see the trade alerts being shared or the chat rooms or anything like that. It does give you access to some free downloadable PDFs and some free analysis being shared each day from our analysts here at A1 Trading. If you would like to join the premium version of the Discord and see the trades that are being taken from myself, Patrick, Any, Ivan, we have a whole cast of characters here at A1 Trading. If you'd like access to that, the best way to do that is click the link down below in the description and use that promo code. You'll get access for a discounted price. But again, every trade that I share goes out in a notification to people who are following along in the VIP group. Use that promo code. Again, it is 10% off. Just plug that in and you should get access. But again, here's the trade that I'm in right now. 46,000 units long pound Aussie. Now, of course, this is still probably, so some of you guys might have the question, well, Nick, is my trade going to get impacted if I'm not even trading the dollar? Probably yes, because the volatility caused by NFP ricochets into other markets. So even if you're trading pound Aussie, for example, we probably will still see some volatility based on risk appetite in the world. If good numbers come out from the US, likely the pound Aussie could move in response to that, right? The risk appetite is not just the dollar, but globally. And when the US has strong numbers, it has impact other places. Let's take a look now at gold together, you guys. Look at gold. Oh my goodness. How have we not talked about gold yet? Let's take a look at gold together, you guys. So, I think we got to start at the 4-hour chart. What in the world? Look at that candle. That is an incredible candle there on gold. Gold tried to pull back here, and then the bulls just said, absolutely not. You get back up there where you came from. Get back to your room, young man. That's what gold said this morning. And check it out. I mean, that's a pretty impressive candle there to the upside. Probably a nasty candle if you were tricked into trying to go short or trying to get involved there. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about this gold movement here prior to the news. Now, central banks, right? Central banks overall looking to rate hike, looking positive in terms of monetary policy, tightening the monetary policy. That has an impact on the price of gold. Now, we don't see it moving dramatically, and gold seems to be drifting higher prior to the news. What that might mean is that the market may be a little bit concerned in terms of the jobs numbers. Remember, poor jobs numbers could act to spike gold, especially when we see, the US dollar. Remember, we are always trading pairs when we're talking about foreign exchange. If we're looking at gold, if the dollar comes down weak, right, then gold could appreciate relatively speaking. So check this out. Gold is moving higher prior to the news. It seems like the market is factoring in a weaker jobs report, a weak number from the US. That's just kind of the forecast. It can change on the release, but let's take a look at this gold movement. Even though the gold market is making a move higher, we still have to respect market structure. We still see price coming back to levels of resistance, levels like the 38.2%. However, they kind of tried to hold. You can see supply came into effect here, but then dropped and came right back up. So now this level we would call pretty null and void. We've seen a move higher on that 38.2% breakout. Next area of resistance has to be, of course, this consolidation here on the 4-hour chart. You can see that 50% lining up pretty nicely with that. So as we pop up there, if you're bearish on gold, there may be some volatility here on the news. We'll have to see what the numbers are. Again, I'm not trading prior to the spike because I don't like to try and jump in. It gets very spready, it gets very choppy and all over the place. I like to trade the aftermath, which, by the way, don't go after the stream or after the spike. We're going to be talking about the aftermath and actually talking about the trades that we are in and placing them and talking about those post setups. Hey, Thomas, thank you very much for the $2, my friend. If you get a chance, Nick, check out Pound Swiss for me. Absolutely. We talked all about the pound yesterday. Thank you very much again, Thomas, for the stream donation. Of course, you don't have to do that, but it definitely does help with the content here. So taking a look, Thomas, for you on Pound Swiss, price pulling back here overall. We discussed this in my recent video in terms of the pound. The pound, I'm still bullish on. In fact, I would like to pick up something like Pound Swiss at this golden level that we discussed previously on the content. I actually talked about Pound Swiss being a buy at 61.8 in my opinion. Now, again, I'm long already on the pound, so I'm not going to pick up a whole bunch of exposure to the pound at once, as we just discussed with my Pound Aussie trade. But overall, I like the pound to the upside. And so when the Pound Swiss, if it gives me a pullback opportunity, I'm looking at that as an opportunity to potentially buy. Please remember, that is just my take on it. That's my opinion, and I can be wrong. I just want to say that because, again, I'm just a guy on YouTube. Don't take me as some sort of, like all-knowing, oh, yeah, he said it's going up, so it's got to go up, right? I'm long biased on the Pound Swiss. That's why we use stop losses, because it doesn't matter who you are. Sometimes you're wrong, and the stop loss allows you to be wrong and still not get wiped out. That's the idea that we're going to stick to here on the channel, right? Keep those stops tight, keep them in place, and don't let the market run away with a huge loss on your account, right? That's a very beginner thing to do. Hey, let's take a look back at gold. I want to just keep finishing up on our thoughts here. So again, gold, big drop recently. Dollar strength was all over the place. Now we're seeing the pullback. We're seeing a little bit of uncertainty as we go into the news event today. Now, of course, as we pull back to these levels, we still have to remember that even if there's some short-term volatility, the gold bulls, right? They found support. They found what they were looking for down here at 1788 at that supportive structure. Let's actually mark that as green. There we go. So yeah, even though, we're seeing that pullback, they did find a strong level of support. We also, again, I would say overall, the sellers still have appetite if you start seeing pokes up into this level. One more level to look at. This is a little bit far away, but I just want to have it on our chart in case. Levels up here at that 61.8 and just shy of it, right? Just above it, actually. 1830, 1829, somewhere in this zone. Huge breakout zone previously. You can see right there is where we got the commitment to the downside, right? So if price comes back up to that point, you may see sellers be very aggressive there. The 50%, I would say, is light. Like if you're very bearish on gold, take a look at it. 61.8, however, is a little bit heavier, right? That's a bit heavier of a line in the sand for the bears here on gold. So if I was looking at gold, and we got a pop, and let's say I decide, to take a small risk on the account, right? Nothing crazy, with a stop above structure. I like that area as a potential target because the risk reward gets really good. If that level holds for the sellers where they were so strong previously when they broke out, you're talking about good risk reward on the gold market. So maybe we get some pop on the news, right? If the news, which by the way, 9 minutes to go, we'll watch the spike together. So don't go anywhere. Got 860 people here, by the way. If you're enjoying the content, do me a big favor. Just a quick pause. If you guys don't mind, if you're enjoying the free content, this is stuff that, I got to the office early here today because I love you guys and I want to make some content with you and talk some trading because we've got some setups setting up. If you're enjoying the content, hit the like button, help us out, help grow the content here. Again, it's free content, no $1,000 courses or anything like that here. You can sign up for free just by subscribing and watch the content. So there you go. Hit the like button, help out the stream, and let's continue on. We've got a couple minutes here before the news gets going, and there probably will be some volatility to see. So we'll watch the spike together. Just around 900 viewers. Thank you guys for being here. So gold, again, last concept here for gold. I would say in terms of sell zones, if you're looking at gold as a potential sell, right? loose here, but a little bit more interesting here, right? The reason I say that is because the structure here is not so convincing. Yeah, we had a pivot point and a fall off again. So there is some sell pressure interest in my opinion, right? My take on it up here at 1817, but more interesting up here at that big breakout that we had a few weeks back, right? January 26th, big break to the downside, huge flow to the downside there for the sellers. That would be more interesting for me. Yeah, so let's continue on. We've got a couple minutes here before the spike. We will watch dollar CAD. Watch dollar CAD for the spike, as there's CAD news as well. Thank you, Kalish. I'm actually with you on that. We will watch dollar CAD. That'll be fun. Yeah, so Aussie dollar, yeah, we can take a look at a quick Aussie dollar look. So Aussie dollar selling off in front of the news. And this is a testament to risk off sentiment that is flowing into the markets right now. We are seeing the Aussie suffer a little bit prior to the news, and also just in general, we're seeing the Aussie struggle overall. Why would that be the case? Well, Aussie is that higher risk currency. We're seeing a little bit of interest there to the downside and a breakout there on the 1 hour chart here today, right? Big break of resistance. So maybe let's say that you're short bias in the Aussie dollar and we get some volatility. Maybe there's an opportunity to pick up its short back on a retest here after the news. Could be some decent risk reward if you're looking at Aussie dollar versus the US dollar. You know, you're talking about something like this, maybe some short setups with stops over the highs and targeting the previous low. It's more of a swing trade, but still could be kind of that factor, right? Big breakout today, lots of flow to the downside. If you get some volatility, maybe there's an opportunity to pick Aussie dollar up against the dollar at a good premium level, right? What we're talking about here on the stream very often is breakouts, retests, pullbacks in momentum, and trying to go with the flow. 923 people here. Happy Friday to you. Of course, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Before the news gets here, we're just going through some charts. We're talking setups and trying to get a gauge of some ideas that we could play post news. Remember, I'm not trading the spike itself because of the high spreads, the choppiness that the market will throw at you. I'm not doing that. However, the post news, absolutely all game for it. I take a lot of trades post NFP, and if I take them, you guys will see them within the Discord. So one more time, by the way, let me drop the free Discord here for you. Just grab that link. I just dropped it in the chat if you would like to join the free Discord. It is there in the chat now. So click that, and you can join and get access to the free analysis, etc., that we're sharing. Here's dollar yen as we get closer to the news here, you guys. We've got 5 minutes on the clock until we get started with the news, which will cause some spikes across pretty much all the currency pairs that we've looked at so far here in the stream. Here's your 1 hour chart view of the Aussie dollar, or sorry, Aussie dollar, that's the last one. Dollar yen, right? Dollar yen, check it out. So we've got support and we've got resistance. This thing is at a pivotal spot going into the news, and probably for good reason. We're seeing the consolidation prior to the release as basically sellers hold this area up here at 115.15, and then you've got the buyers here at 114.83. So we're kind of at a decision point. If you get big strength to the upside or to the downside, there is probably some good break and retest concepts. Now, here's the thing. I'm actually sort of neutral on the dollar going into this for the first time. The last few months, NFP, bullish. Right now, I'm kind of neutral on the dollar. And so that means, you know, I'm impartial to where the price moves, and more, you know, in terms of technicals, looking at just breakouts, retests, wherever they go. And so when we look at the dollar yen, and part of that, right, is because of the monetary policy tightening in other places, the UK, Europe, right? We're seeing them catch up in that race to monetary policy. So the dollar is looking a bit unattractive in the short term. Still, dollar bull overall, just being cautious with trying to jump into a whole bunch of dollar longs when it's fallen out of the market's favor at this time. So anyways, dollar yen, let's say you get some bearish dollar news, could break us out of this range, maybe back to the downside, and see some flow back towards the previous lows. So there could be some break and retest concepts here on dollar yen. For example, let's say that you're looking at this and you get a big red candle. Let's say we get some huge red news and the market is down bad for the dollar. something like this could absolutely come into play. And, there's some decent risk to reward in terms of targeting some levels. Let's talk about some targets where the dollar yen could go if dollar strength kind of goes out the window. We see some yen strength come back in. A couple targets, levels like this where we have structure previously. You had a lot of buy pressure down here. So that could be a short-term target number one, and short-term target number two kind of being at that previous low here, right? So we've got this level in mind, 114.16, 1.1417. So what we would be looking for is either direction, a strong, decisive move from the dollar on the news. Again, one of my favorite plays, absolute number one favorite way to play the news, is waiting for a big fat candle and looking for the opportunity to join it with a good risk reward. By far, one of my best trading setups that's out there, especially if you're fundamentally bullish on the underlying pair, that's why we talk about fundamentals so regularly within the YouTube channel and also in the Discord. So, let's say that we get some really, really negative stuff for the dollar. You get a big, fat, bully red candle, right? And then bam, we're down. And then you're saying, okay, well, maybe I missed the move. Well, remember, so often when we get those news spikes, it's one way and then it's back the other way. And there's an opportunity to potentially get involved at a good risk reward level, like what we're talking about here. Let's say you get that big red candle and then it pops back the other direction. You say, okay, now's my shot. I'm looking at this and I'm looking to short and go with the flow. Again, not financial advice. I'm sharing my thoughts and my opinions here. Please don't go making dumb decisions today. Do your homework, do your risk management, do your own due diligence, and ask yourself, what is going to happen if I'm wrong, right? This is why we use stop losses on trades that we discuss. The reason we put a small position size on and a stop loss on the trade is because there's volatility in markets, and sometimes things just do crazy stupid stuff, right? But that's why we have stop losses for those odd times where things just do really, really nuts things. We don't get absolutely destroyed by the market. So, well, let's talk about the bullish case. What if we take out the tops, Nick? What if we see huge volatility to the upside? We get surprisingly good numbers from the U.S. In terms of jobs. Again, the Fed is hawkish for a reason. They probably see some things in the mix that are looking good, and there is the possibility that the dollar comes out strong. Same thing. We're just going to flip it on its head. Now we're going to talk about the bullish case. So if things do start moving the other way, and you might say, well, Nick, you're just saying, well, it could go up or down. Well, yes, the news could go up or down, but the follow through, the trade setups that come after, that's where we're interested, because that's where some of the good risk reward setups could come in. So let's say, for example, you're looking at long positions, similar concept with a stop loss in consolidation here. Nothing crazy, not looking to risk the whole account, really small sizing here. But again, you get a pop to the upside. Let's say the dollar is really strong and you're looking for some pullbacks in the midst of it, right? Love the idea of break and retest at the high. If dollar yen takes out that high, I'm looking to be bullish again, right? I would love to see some momentum come back. And there it is. We're seeing the momentum as we spoke it into existence. We're seeing some upside there. Here's the news. We are just seeing some dollar strength come in. Here's dollar CAD on the spike. And I'm sorry, I kind of missed the spike, you guys. That is crazy. That level held so nicely. Dollar strength is coming in here now. And what are the news numbers? Let's see if we can pull this up. And pretty soon, don't go anywhere, you guys. We're going to watch the spike. And then we're also going to have a guest come in and discuss the numbers that are coming in, which, by the way, I'm going to try and pull them up for us just so we can see what the numbers were. Minus 200K for the CAD. So the CAD looking very weak today, which is why we are seeing the dollar against the CAD appreciate. We're seeing the CAD take on some water here. And the dollar, what is the dollar? I'm trying to figure out the dollar number here for you. The rate is, we'll have to give it a second. Maybe once Ivan comes in here, we can discuss it with him. But dollar CAD, well, let's try and get the raw reaction. Gold is making a move back down the other way, seeing a little bit of failure here at this level. Didn't quite get up to 1818, but we are seeing overall a rejection here. What about dollar yen? So we were just looking at this one, talking about dollar yen busting above the highs, and there may be, hey, this might actually come into play a lot sooner than we thought. Dollar yen making that big stab to the upside. Strong move here for the dollar yen. So we should probably clear out our ideas on the sell side. We're seeing this level potentially hold. Hey, let's watch this candle here on the 1 hour chart. Can we get this candle in the next 30 minutes to close above this structure? That would be, in my opinion, very, very bullish. Hey, we got some people in there. Buy dollar CAD. I'm so happy. Hey, nice. 467K. Thank you, Jafar. So we got 467K jobs. that is not bad numbers. So again, coming out strong here today, trying to figure out what is the, trying to get all the numbers. Average hourly earnings, 4% unemployment rate. But again, I'm guessing that we had some good, if Jafar is correct about that, 467K jobs. That is a good solid number for jobs created, and probably a hawkish thing for the US. Look at that candle, you guys. Big strength here coming in. And am I getting crushed on pound Aussie? What's going on? Okay, no, we're holding the lows. $500 on the trade so far. Not bad. I'll take it. And again, we are going to let this one run, and we'll see if we can get a bust through that break of high. So yeah, let's give this guy a few minutes to work its magic. Let's take a look at euro dollar. Euro dollar coming down hard off of that level that we discussed. Supply at 1.148, holding for the time being. It's seeing some sell pressure come in. Again, targets on euro USD if things really roll over. We discussed 1.12. 84, and of course higher time frame, talking about a move back down to 1.1126. That is a longer term target for me on the euro dollar. And again, seeing a little bit of rejection, not honestly the worst idea in my opinion to look for some dollar strength here. There may be some dollar bounce back coming, and maybe we'll have to discuss that. Yeah, really euro USD seeing a nice move there. What about pound dollar? We'll take a look at this one. We discussed look at the pound dollar coming down hard here and falling through support. Again, we discussed this idea here, pull back to this level, but again, we wait until after the news. And so we're seeing this thing close, or starting to look like it's wanting to try and close outside. But again, remember, NFP can reverse real quick. So that's why I'm kind of just going to wait on the candle to make a decision here. But again, pound kind of going out the window here against the dollar, falling through support. And hey, if this level breaks and holds above this or below, the whole idea that we discussed with bullishness goes out the window and more on the side of bearishness. In terms of a bearish perspective, after we broke out of this trend line here, right? Where could we see this thing go? Well, the floor is the limit, right? I guess doesn't work so well as the sky is the limit, but here's some ideas, right? Previous low has to be marked on the chart. And then you've got a big consolidation zone right around this zone here. So very possible that we see some more dollar strength pushing this out. Check out Euro CAD. Euro is so strong and CAD melted. Look. Sure, we'll take a look at Euro CAD. Look at that move, man. The euro is very strong right now, and that's why we're seeing, even though the euro USD not coming down nearly as hard as the pound dollar, the euro is just so strong. But look at that move, you guys. A pullback here may be in play. Pound dollar looking very interesting potentially after that dollar strength coming into the markets. Let me see, where is our second guest? Hey man, you coming on? We were supposed to have Ivan, but I don't know if he got the link. I hope he did. But stream. So yeah, the idea here being dollar strength came in hard, right? That's a strong move for the dollar, and the CAD took a dive as well. Do you mind checking dollar CAD? Sure. Aussie dollar's falling like a rock. Oh my goodness, Denise, that is a crazy move. So let's look at the Aussie dollar, then we'll look at dollar CAD. Denise says it's falling like a rock, and Denise, you are not lying. That is an incredible move. That's wild. Hey, we've got a special guest to discuss here what's going on. And real quick, let me just pull up dollar CAD because I said I would. Oh my goodness, that is a strong green candle. That's a big green candle right there. And joining me now, we've got a friend coming on the show. Here is Mr. Ivan. Ivan, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome to the stream.
Thank you very much for having me. Well, it's a good day, isn't it?
It is a very good day for dollar bulls.
It's a good day for everyone now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I messed you up. Sorry.
You messed me up.
You were saying?
Why are you kicking me out?
I don't know. I didn't like what you're saying. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, incredible day for the dollar. We're coming in real strong here. And that number, was it 476K? Is that the
467, yeah.
Okay, yeah, 467. Wow, that's some bigger than expected numbers for sure. Pulling it up here on the screen, we got 110K was the forecast, 467K in terms of the actual. So really impressive there. Ivan, what's your reaction overall here for the dollar?
Money. No, I'm joking. Unexpected. I was saying in my stream below 150, mostly because we know that this time of the year, it's not really like a strong generally it's going to be slower in winter, right? So
Sure.
150, and then we also saw ADP, which actually fuels people. I have said the whole week that doesn't have correlation anymore, and all the media outlets are like, well, ADP was so low, it was negative 300,000 or whatever, and then I'm like, research shows there's no correlation anymore. What happens? And
No,
non-farm payroll goes
exactly.
the opposite way.
It kind of tricked me a little bit too. I mean, I didn't really like trade the dollar based on that, but I was like, okay, well, those numbers are not looking great. It is a natural reaction, right? So that's actually a really good point that you make that, because now, jobs numbers coming out much higher than expected. That took the market by surprise here a little bit.
Absolutely. So we have labor force participation going higher. We have more jobs being created, and we also have an increase in average hourly earnings. So full steam ahead. Full steam ahead. Except for CAD. Canada did the opposite.
CAD had a little bit of a tough day, but going off of your point there, yes, participation in labor markets, great. Unemployment, 4%, still staying relatively low comparatively speaking to some of the other places, and average hourly earnings higher than expected. That even pushes the narration of inflation and the Fed's monetary policy tightening. It kind of reinforces their plan to stay ahead of the game to combat that. So, Ivan, do you have any markets you want to pull up? If you want to share your screen, if you have any trade ideas or setups that you're looking at personally post NFP, that would be awesome.
Well, I'm just trying to save you here because somebody super chatted you. So I'm going to save you and do USD CAD because that was what they wanted to do.
Yes. Thank you, Akil, in the chat for the 40. Appreciate you very much, man. Let's do it. We'll do USD CAD for
USD CAD is definitely the strongest today. Definitely to the upside. I don't know what position you guys have on USD CAD, but earlier today we had a break of structure, so it was kind of setting up for it, even though there was no way on earth you're able to know this is going to happen. But right now you have probably less likeliness of a rate increase. This can actually continue more than just a current move. Mostly because dollar is going stronger and CAD is going weaker, at least on the short term. So if you are a seller here, I would run as fast as I can and maybe look for some pullbacks on Monday or something, because this is probably the strongest one that is that has the biggest divergence today.
Sure. So dollar CAD, if you were to, if you could full screen that and let us know, like if you're looking at this thing. No, you're good. If you're looking at dollar CAD and you're saying, okay, we had the big pop, for people who may, let's say that they do have a bullish perspective on it, where would you say is an interesting pullback location to start looking at potential buys? Where do we have structure? What's your thoughts on that?
Before I do anything on that, is if this pulls back 100% or more, it's dead. That is like if you start going back down to these levels down here, back down to these supports again, it is dead. Then they have got new information that they didn't know before. Then the whole thing is basically dead. So it all depends on what kind of volatility strategy do you have. So first of all, we of course have this as resistance, clear as a day, and we have this as support. But that I don't like going as low as that, because that would be great maybe on Monday, but for today, I still want us to be peaking higher. And if we can use that as support, that would probably be the best, more longer term, because if we're down here, that doesn't look great. But if you, generally speaking, are a trend trader, you have general trend, and then up there, and then down the back.
So Ivan, let's just say that we get in the next few hours, let's say that the follow through is real. We get a break above that resistance and price clears that zone of supply. And then you're saying, potentially an aggressive buy idea up there. How would you treat the stop loss in that place? Because you're talking about, you've moved substantially. Would you keep the stop tight? How would you approach the risk management on that?
Good question. Is 120 pips down to its previous low.
Right.
I am probably going to do, like I always do, 50 pips and then see, does that work out or does it not work out? If it doesn't work out, what is then the structure? Then it's a whole new trade. So it's just one attempt, 50 pips. Right. If it goes down below, okay, then I was wrong. Okay, I will try again. So I will watch this as a hawk, and I know that is vulnerable to have only 50 pips. Even better would have been if you can divide your lot size in half and only take 50% of that, so you can have 100 pips loss, stop loss, and then you are the way better price. Then you are the way better structure down here. But
Yes.
then you have to have a follow-up later on where you kind of go back to your normal, as it continues higher, you then have more normal lot sizes again to save yourself, basically.
I like that. And so, okay, do you mind using, you ever use the trading view position thing? What do you call that? The like the stop target, what do you call that? I forget the position size. Yeah. I wanted to see. So let's say that move happens. The other question I have for you, of course, you've got a 50 pips stop loss in mind. If price clears that, you see consolidation or a breakout and consolidation above, you get the pullback. How, I know you use the Wayne's pivots. How would you target something as well? Because I'm just trying to get a feel for, you get that breakout, where would you be looking for it to move higher?
So if I'm actually going to trade around 27, like around this level, around 27.80, 50 pips is actually down to the beginning of today's move. So that is okay for me.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And then if you're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 R's, I would probably just use the pivot points, which is easier for me. But I would then, generally speaking, say, what if we by the end of the month are able to get back up to 129? It's a long term, but if we break through this, that is definitely the next move, because in my world, and probably not the whole world, but in my world, this is clear as a day buy zone, and this is clear as a day target, and we are on the way. Yes, we are if we clear. Right.
Well, and that's the thing, is that if is a big if, but it's also something that could even carry into next week. Maybe that dollar strength continues into next week. We see the break above. We start seeing structure here continue bullish. I actually really like that in terms of a risk reward. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Dollar CAD definitely in play today with the CAD news coming out negative and the dollar coming out strong. That is quite the divergence on that pair.
Yeah, it's currently 2.7 R, so it's okay. It goes.
Yeah, no, that's not bad. That's I actually really like that trade setup a lot. So thanks for the signal, man. I'll be using that later. So yeah, no, but just a crazy NFP. I mean, that was I don't know if you were watching the stream or not at the time, but I was I was talking about a setup and I didn't realize that the time was like right then and there. So it just blew up on my screen. I was like, oh my gosh, well, there it is. There's the numbers. So quite the spike there. So what are we doing in terms of dollar in general? We're still seeing dollar strength. We haven't seen any of those, whiplash back moves. And yeah, what's your thoughts on Aussie dollar? I've got to hear this, because that's a big move to the downside there.
If you are in the VIP membership in your Discord channel, I talked about this one this morning.
I know you did.
And we made this trade plan.
That is awesome, man. That's some sell-off pressure there.
So I don't know. What else do you want me to do? I think it's going to go down to 68.50. And we are already on the way. So, the move is already over. No, of course, this is a continuation of the trade we had last week, where whoever who did it, absolutely nailed that entry, and that is a target. And now we did that one again, and we're going down to 68.50.
Yep.
The reason why Aussie is weak now, one of the reasons Aussie is weak is actually there was a very bad trade balance. It was only, is it 8,000? It's supposed to be above 10. So it was only 8,000, whatever, billion, million, whatever it is. So it's a very weak export number.
Interesting. Yeah, and I think the story that's been so pressing for me right now, Ivan, is that we've got all these central banks now. I keep comparing it to like a race. Like the dollar was like a way ahead in the race, and then this catch-up play from the euro and well, still not catch-up, but we're seeing some recovery from the euro, who is just dead last back with the yen and the Swiss franc. But now we're seeing the pound come out strong. We're seeing some race contestants come in, and it seems like the Aussie and the NZD are still just not the most favorable in that race. What's your take on that?
Do you remember who raised hikes first in March 2020?
Well, it was either CAD or NZD. Who was it? Which one was it? Canada? My memory is
bad. America. 3rd of March. It was America. Then CAD, then UK, then Euro, and then Aussie, and then whatever.
Got it.
The big boy, America, starts the race in central banking hikes or lowers it, or hikes or decreasing it, they're the first ones. They're the first move, and then everyone else moves with it, because then they have to start acting. The thing is that Canada has done, they have been postponing, because they're looking to their brother and like, hey, what are you going to do? And they're like, well, we are still waiting for transitionary. And then now everyone is rate hiking. Why? Because Fed is going to do it in March. Everyone expects it.
You got to keep
They
up.
haven't done it yet, but it also depends on their economy, and everyone is doing. Many economies are not doing well. So, the New Zealand, Aussie, CAD are going to get crushed because of it. The only question that we need to discuss ourselves is, how bad is it going to be? How strong is dollar going to be? How much are they? Because money has to come from somewhere, and it seems like New Zealand and Aussie is the loser. So that's why I have the downside here.
Yeah, and you've been bearish on these two pairs for a long time. Every time I've talked to you the last several months, I feel like we've talked about Aussie dollar short setups. I was with you on that for a while. I still have a bearish outlook. I just have been trading a lot of the Euro USD has been good to me until the last week or so. I took 2 losses in a row on that, so I'm pausing on that for now. But dollar yen, euro dollar has been my play, and it seems like you're pretty consistently shorting the Aussie dollar. So good stuff there, man. Hey, Ivan, thank you so much for coming on.
Wait.
What you got? What's the bonus? The
bonus is, I said up here, this is the sell zone. That is where we were. And I said, I don't want to buy it until here. 2 pips. 2 pips difference. I'm sorry. It was only 2 pips. I haven't taken in trades here though, but it looks clean.
Yeah, it does. And that dollar yen today move, my goodness, that is such a breakout there, and looking like it's wanting to come right on back to the top. So good stuff there on the dollar yen. If you're long on the dollar yen, then hey, you're in it without me. I'm waving you off. Have a great day. Enjoy it. Have a fun trip. But yeah, Ivan, as always, a pleasure having you on. Guys, before we go, do me a favor, go blow Ivan up on his YouTube channel, IvanFX. You can see it in his name under his little tag there. Follow him, subscribe to him. He's got Instagram, he's got YouTube. Just search him up. He is worth following, and always a pleasure to have you on, sir.
You're very much welcome.
Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you very much for being here today. If you enjoyed the stream at all, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. We do this all the time. It's free content for you guys. And if you're serious about your trading, this is the place to be. We bring on people like Ivan. You get people like me. How can you go wrong with that, right? No, I'm kidding. But thank you for being here. Seriously, guys. You guys make all this possible. We get to do what we love every day, which is talk markets, talk trading, and share it with the world. So appreciate you being here. I'm going to run the outro here. I'm doing it all myself here. So let me just find the outro, and let's play the outro.
I know you were expecting Nick, but my name's Julie and I do the real work around here. I wanted to take a second to thank you guys for watching the show and tell you more about some free content that we offer. One of the things that we offer is a free email newsletter. So if you click the link down below, you can sign up for free market analysis, trading tips, and exclusive offers. Every once in a while, someone here at A1 Trading takes a crazy trade and you'll be the first one to know about it. See you guys next time.